Good morning, everyone. So, as per our plan, we are supposed to start with yesterday's session with the incident management and postmortem. As we know, we mostly focused on the visual part last week, and we continued with creating the same visualization. So, yeah, that was one of the critical tasks that we had to cover. Uh, whatever yesterday's uh, curriculum was pending, so we will be continuing with that today. Um, Apart from that, we have some new changes in our SRE lab. So I will be sharing the latest zip file that has some alert manager related changes as well. Since like from here on, since we have covered the dashboards, visualization, and observability part. So today's session and maybe the next session as well, mostly we will focusing on the incident management and postmortem. Apart from that, the alerting mechanism. So why it is important and how we need to set up the alerts. Already we have seen that on our dashboards, how the alerting works, but how to set up the alerts thing and how to prepare a YAML file and how to group them how to merge all the repetitive alerts. Uh, so those things we will be discussing in upcoming sessions. Okay. Before we get started, start with the today's session, I would like to show you one. If you remember, like last week, we had some discussion related to the synthetic monitoring, right? So, if you know, like we have covered most of the the visualization part and the troubleshooting the incidents or the issues from the backend side, correct? So when it comes to the UI, like front end side, we should be having some alerting mechanism in place, right? So that's where the synthetic monitoring and the real user monitoring comes into the picture, correct? So I yesterday, like last week, I have been working with couple of work with some got some approval from one of the organization to use their tool for the visualization purpose. Uh, so this is, if you can see, I got the environment if you see the middleware.io. This organization usually is similar to like how we have the Grafana Datadog tools, right? So this is similar tool. It's being used in a couple of organizations, and they also serve the same purpose like observability visualizations and all. Just show you the quick features that they are supported. Now, if you can see, we have discussed about the logging mechanism, right? Yesterday only we have discussed about it, and so this is like how the logging mechanism looks like on the production environment. So we have seen the same, just like the look and feel is better over here, and the type of the logs, everything we have also created the videos if you remember, right? So like if you can see, most of the alerts or the logging mechanisms are standardized one, correct? That's why we are able to parse them properly and able to visualize them clearly over here. Okay. And based on the type of the severity and the errors information, so the tools usually support that kind of, if you have to support, like if you have to check the debug log, error log, based on that also we can check the particular trained, and with that also we will be able to analyze it. So this is like the sandbox environment. It is not the production, but it is again a production look like. But it also works most likely as a production. You can call it as a pre-production environment. Okay, but yeah, whatever the alerting. So as we discussed yesterday, right, before rolling out any changes onto the production environment, we need to check with the developer teams, or we need to validate if the whatever the logging mechanism that they have configured for the service, is it working or not properly on the pre-production. If the logging mechanism, the trend, if you can see, it's kind of a steady trend over here, correct? So we are not saying any spike or anything, even though if we notice any spike, it should be a genuine spike due to the traffic surge, not due to the error, like the logging mechanism, right? So this is how the features are supported. If you can see APM, APM is nothing but our traces, APM traces. So based on the APM, the metrics that we can set up. You can see now there are some metrics that are configured over here, right? So, and if you remember, like based on the endpoint also we can create the widgets, right? So if you can see all the endpoints are listed here. So for our environment, for our payment app we had only 3 endpoints, but for when it comes to the production environment, we support a number of endpoints, right? So that's how it looks like on the production environment. And yeah, so dashboard builder is again one of the feature supported. Okay, so again, we can create a dashboard. There are some features supported by AI as well. You just have to give the requirements, and based on that, it creates the dashboard. So let me check the connect with this one. Yeah, see, this is how the typical dashboard looks like, guys, on the production side. So as you can see, we have like these are the metrics and dashboard that are configured. Right. This is typically for looks
Sorry
like
for interrupting. Like I'm seeing only that one screen. Like the week 4, first slide alone. I'm seeing like whatever sharing. I'm not able to see.
uh,
We can see.
We can see.
Oh, okay. Let me
uh,
resume.
I
Yeah.
have shared the middleware dot. If you can see the screen, this is middleware IO screen. You should be seeing, right?
Yes, Santosh, we can see.
Okay, okay,
Sorry, I'm
okay,
not able to see. I'll try to rejoin.
okay, okay. Sure, sure, sure. Yeah. Okay, so these are the features, guys, usually supported by most of the tools. And nowadays, as a part of this AI features, that most of the tools are also started supporting the LLM observability. Okay, like mostly when you give the proper input to the AI. Okay, usually that gives us show me like slow LLM traces or whatever the issues that you report over here, or if you give any endpoint that gives us a kind of result for your applications. Okay, so that is again like when your application is supporting to the AI features as well. So that is again inbuilt one provided by the tools only. So if anyone is using the Datadog Bits SRE or any similar tools for your visualizations and dashboard monitoring, is anyone using Datadog?
Yeah, Santosh. I previously in previous organization I use ELK stack.
Correct, correct, yeah. So similarly, Ilk stack. So we have this Datadog as well, right? So most of the AI tools, most of the observability tools have now started supporting the LLM features as well. So that like if you are not aware of the endpoint details or any service which is like calling your endpoints or any downstream API or any flow that you are not aware of, you can simply give the endpoint details or the description, the complete description for your service. This AI is usually try to pick the respective details and it will try to get the answer for you.
Acha, acha.
Yeah,
So I just have a question. So most of the tools and most of the
yeah,
tech, as I can see, they are installing. I mean, they are
mm,
integrating LLMs into their product. Okay.
correct,
So as I can
correct.
see, the most of the time it is kind of a chatbot only. We have to go
Yes,
just like a
yeah,
going to tell them if this is happening to my application, scan it and give me an error. Okay.
mm,
Previously, what was in my mind, okay, now this is an AI, so we have to learn the AI, and there is a get rid of our other jobs, and we need to find into the AI something like that. But
yeah,
but as I can see, so AI is actually adding a one point, adding a one option there to look for some traces and kind of all. Okay.
yeah.
So I didn't see like AI is not eating our jobs. Actually, they are producing a new one.
Correct, correct. Exactly,
Correct,
exactly.
correct. So as we are more focused onto the SRE and the DevOps,
Yeah.
so what do you think? Should I worried about AI?
Okay, let me tell you what exactly the key difference between like how it is impacting to the other industries and other roles and how it is different for SRE and DevOps. Okay,
Hmm.
when you work on the regular, I mean the development part or any other task or activities. Uh,
Mm.
it's like you know the requirement and you can clearly get that from the AI, like the respective result that you are looking for from the agents. Now, if you see, we are using the LLM observability over here. But if you see, the tool is simply assisting us to get
Mm.
the details or to get the latency or whatever it is. But is it fixing the issue? It is not. Is it taking the action on anything? No, because it is still handled by humans only.
Mm.
That's where the key difference between how it is going to impact the other roles, where like they do not have any dependency with the humans, where the
Mm.
AI can automate the things. But when it comes to the SRE and DevOps roles, um, the things like, let's say you are observing the latency or you're observing some kind of error trend. So
Mm.
unless and until you know what's the dependency, let's say there is a maintenance activity is going on and due to which you are expecting some errors. Now, if you follow the straightforward use case with the AI, if you instruct the AI that if my server, if you notice that there is a spike on payment application, just start the pods. And what will happen? It will check. Okay, the alert will get triggered. Eventually, your AI will start restarting your payment app.
Mm.
But is it the right use case? No, because you are performing the maintenance activity or patching activity, or you are doing some regular activity.
Mm.
That's why the AI observability is there, but it is going to simplify our things. It's not going to take over our jobs. Even I attended last week, one of the AI SRE session. Okay, I with it was one of the AI organization only. So I will quickly show you that as well. Stack Gem. Okay, so they invited. So I attended their session, wherein like they clearly told couple of scenarios
Mm.
where AI tool has messed up the thing on production rather than fixing the thing. Uh, it has messed up the thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, one of the typical scenario, or if you remember, the last year there was a issue on the DynamoDB. It was due to the AI because they instructed like some of the replica to clean up, and it cleaned up the replica as well as the production environment as well.
Mm.
That's why the AWS environment was like we had seen the DynamoDB was almost down for 24 hours or so. Correct. So like it's a kind of how you implement or how you instruct the AI. Okay. And
Mm.
still it's you cannot be replacing your production activities with the AI.
Okay.
That's the final conclusion we can as of now till there, because see every organization have their production environment configured differently, the architecture is configured differently. Correct.
Mm.
That's why nowadays, if you're observing or seeing, there are roles recently introduced called forward deployed engineer.
I saw that onto
Uh,
every Instagram, LinkedIn as well.
yeah, yeah, it's been a hotcake job role nowadays, like the forward deployed engineer. Usually, they introduce that role just to adopt the AI in their organization. Most of the organizations are using the AI, but they are not adopting into their the complete environments or into they are not actually utilizing it completely. So the
Correct.
forward deployed engineer, they mostly their role is like to understand the requirement from the organizations and develop the AI agent based on their requirement.
Mm.
Okay, but even though when they build any kind of AI agent, it's not. It will be typically limited to till the the development phase only, or max to max
Yes.
like a kind of pre-production rollout. The thing is like every time there are some every day we know on the production architecture related changes are going on. The design of the system every day we see that there are some changes on the all the time on the environment. So we
Mm.
it's that AI agent is not that kind of smart like to adapt with the everyday changes and to perform accordingly. That's why SRE and their pros are going to be it's not going to impact that to that level. But what all rules or the things that are going to impact as a part of this SRE sorry AI we can say the repetitive task, like let's say someone is working on some auto save jobs or the batch jobs, or no, or any kind of jobs where you just have to trigger it and the rest of the things tool will take care, and it will send the report and it will be taken care by the tool itself. Those kind of things will be definitely can be automated by using the AI. The agent may take care of it. These are the possibilities. Okay, if there are any reports that you are fetching from the like a weekly report, or
Mm.
or the cost optimization report, correct, or whatever the utilization reports are there. If any team is working mostly on the that, they do not have any core dependency with the production environment, then those roles can be impacted.
Okay, understood.
Yeah, that's why if you see any tools, though it is called as AI SRE in the Datadog, this LLM observability. Now, this tool has a feature. Okay, for now I do not have the access, but I will plan to have a demo next week with them. Okay, I'm in discussion with them. So they have a feature called fix the issue as well. Okay, so they have introduced that feature as well, but
Okay.
they are still in kind of a development phase where they are still need to analyze if is it really fixing the issue and what kind of issues that AI can fix.
Mm.
Okay, so they are still working on that. Probably I will arrange a KT session or a demo session with them if you all are okay with that, because it's a kind of a new learning it will be, because I already attended their session. So if you want to know how AI is going to have kind of uh, uh, we can't say it's kind of impacting us, but how it is helping us and
Mhm.
supporting us. So if you want to understand that, I can request them to have a demo session with us.
Sure, sure.
Yeah. So to get started with today's session, guys, like I would like to show you one synthetic alert. So as we discussed yesterday, we covered most of the backend related issues, right? Mostly related to the latency, error budgets, and all we discussed. But let's say your application is something related to the front end application, okay? And your application mostly rely on the user interaction on the UI side. Let's take an example of this example. We can take Linux, right? Uh, Linux Foundation we have, right? Yeah. So, okay, let's say if someone is using this application or someone is trying to enroll for any training course, correct? So this is like the portal that mostly they interact with, correct? So now from the Linux Foundation point of view, they do not have to worry about their backend unless and until the user is performing the checkout and all, correct? They mostly relying on the UI part, how their courses are being showed properly or not, if this uh, links are working out, the URLs are properly accessible or not, right? So how to make sure that it is accessing, it's working properly. Is there any way that we can design, guys, if you have in mind, like if you know if there is already in built-in process, if that you can think of? Is there any way to analyze
I think
or to monitor this thing?
I'm not sure this answer is right or not, but
Mm,
in testing environment, we kind of using like Selenium kind of stuff.
yeah, correct. The Selenium, what it does is it performs it performs the operations like based on your test cases, correct? Whatever the test case you design, it will run and it will create the results. But the Selenium, let's say I have to check my application UI in every 30 minutes. In that case, like Selenium use case usually takes more than 30 minutes for the complete execution time, right? So
Correct.
if I have to check my application overall from the front end side, the best way is to have the synthetic alerts. Okay, so the synthetic alerts usually configured for the UI side of the application. So if you can see now, let's start at least configuring one synthetic. Okay, so I just what my requirement for here is I want to check if the courses are accessible or not. Okay, so let's check the certificates, there are certifications, right? Okay, let's check if we are able to access the certifications or not. So now if you can see, we are able to load this page and we can see that Linux Foundation and all these courses are accessible over here, correct? Now what I will see, I will simply go to this unified observability tool, okay, and I will add a new test case over here. So it will ask what kind of test case you want to perform. Is it a kind of API test? So even like if you have any API, okay, that for which like if you want to perform the test, like if your API running or not, so even that can be performed by using the synthetic test. You no need to run any kind of additional queries or to heartbeat request to check your API health. You can simply configure the synthetic and the synthetic will take care of it. Okay, now if you can see here, to run the test case, you to run your synthetic, you need to provide the, first of all, you need to provide the endpoint details and all, right? So now what I will do, I will copy the Linux Foundation URL. Okay, from the home screen only we will monitor if, first thing what we will see, if the Linux Foundation homepage is accessible or not. Correct? Right. Let's check that out. So give the URL for which like you have to perform the monitoring. Select what is the like the browser on which you need to perform. Again, this feature is available. So the synthetic monitoring can be done across all the devices as well. For mobiles, tablets, for all the devices, you can perform the same. Just you have to check what all kind of devices you need to support. Okay. Uh, Server locations on premises, what's the server, where exactly your server is hosted, the backend server for this application, that you need to select. Alert configuration, right? So alert configuration, like if you perform the action or if you run your alert, the synthetic, if that alert get failed, okay, for a minute, so at what time the, I mean, we need to get notified. So that kind of alert configuration also can be done. The thing is like, next thing is like configuring the stack and the receiver side. So this is like, but you can get it a PagerDuty alert. You can get it from the Microsoft Teams as well, email alert, and all these things we can be configured. Okay. So let me see. Okay. Now another way to get for 1 minute. Okay. What else is coming? This is me selected. Yeah. So we'll give Linux Foundation the test case name, foundation test, synthetic test, synthetic alert. All right. Okay. Now, if you can see within this particular sandbox, the Linux Foundation URL is loaded. Correct. Now, whatever the actions that you perform in this particular window, those will be recorded over here. Okay, and the same activities will be performed by the tool in every, let's say you configure it in every 30 minutes, the same activity will be performed by the tool. Now let's check. As of now, 0 steps are recorded. Now I will click on, you can see it is, yeah, this step is recorded over, if you can see, right? Now if I scroll down, it will record that as well. Okay, I think on this screen, do we have the certification? Let's access something else then. Let's take standard and specification. Okay, so click on the standard and specification. Correct, it has loaded. Now I scroll down a page till the end. I will see if all the standard specifications are loaded or fine or not. That I will see. Okay, keep in touch and all. Even if you submit the information over here, it will be loaded. Okay, again back to the home screen. It is redirected. Yeah. Now I will save these changes. Let's check if it is working or not. Okay, the synthetic run, like you can see, the timestamp that you need to configure, like the frequency, correct? Every 300 seconds it will run. So we need to modify that. Let me change it, otherwise it will keep on running. Okay. Okay. So uptime, we are getting this, but I have to complete the first test. All right, let's allow the synthetic to run for some time. Okay, in the meanwhile, we will get started with our today's session. Okay, and
Sir,
yeah,
may I know, can you change the past hour to 1 minute or 5 minutes in talk? In right hand side.
yeah. That will again like you can change it to 15 minutes, but if, as of now, that complete test is not yet completed. So okay. I got it. Okay, we need to stop the recording, otherwise it will keep on recording the thing. So it did not stop the recording, so that's why it did not complete. Now it will start. You can run it manually. Let me pause it. Okay, I think last week I tried this when they had a session. I think I have this session ready. I tried this on the same Linux Foundation. Let me check if this is working. Okay. All right. Let's wait for test to get completed. Synthetic turn first time it will take some time, but yeah. All right, guys. So let's get started with incident management and postmortem as we planned as per our curriculum. So we have discussed yesterday about how to troubleshoot the issues, right, and how to act on, how to visualize or how to configure the dashboards and have the observability in place for our applications, correct? But we have seen like most of the time, whenever there is a severity 1 or severity 2 related incidents, um, because like the overall resolution time for incidents, right, why it takes more time or the resolution time. So typical use cases that we have seen, right, uh, first of all, like nobody knows what was broken, correct? Like what exactly the issue, no one is aware of it, and everyone is like checking into some kind of logs or troubleshooting something. So we have already if you see, like already acted on this part, correct? The monitoring gap, it is there, so we have already configured some dashboards, and with that we are able to at least minimize the overall the resolution time of the instance. Apart from that, what all the other factors that usually impact the incident duration, like if your alerting is not proper, okay, let's say you are observing some kind of latency in the application for something platform issue or some other services. but your service is not, or the alerting is not that proper, and it has called out to some other teams. Let's say instead of reaching out to the database team for, let's say it's a database latency, instead of reaching out to them, you have reached out to the developer guys or some other teams guys, and they started looking into it, and they spent okay 15-20 minutes, and they can say that okay, our database instances are running fine, it's not issue with our database, please check this instance or something if they find anything. But again, we have woke up the wrong person because our alerting is not proper, correct? um, Again, the one more thing is like there is no incident commander. Incident commander is nothing but who is usually handling the incident call, who is driving the incident call. It's like a chaos in the call if there is no proper incident commander or TCC. Usually you might have seen in your organizations, they have different naming for each and every companies, like they sometimes they call it as a major incident managers or incident manager, the triage managers, right? Command center managers. So usually they conduct, or they handle the calls with the severity 1 and severity 2 kind of issues. But if there is no such kind of incident commander, it's kind of a chaos, like everyone has started discussing on the same issue, and they just guess what could be the issue rather than choosing one, correct? Again, there is no proper communication with the customers. If your application is having some issues or some technical issues, or which could cause inconvenience to the customer, usually you might have seen like on our mobile devices, like we get a notification, or there is a kind of banner, or on the browser you usually see that our services are currently experiencing some kind of issues, like so. So if no one is going to inform to the customer, there is no proper update to the stakeholders, right? And even there is no one to update like what got changed, if anyone has deployed, if any deployment is going on, or anything, or any timeline, correct? uh, again, apart from that, if this issues, typical issue that we notice, if that was not handled properly, if there was no postmortem done for that incident that was occurred the last month, the issue is likely to happen again, correct? So these are the typical uh, uh, like ways due to which like we have noticed that the incident resolution or the incident management takes the time for resolution, correct? Hope you guys are also agree on these points. It's the same scenario across all the organizations, guys. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. So now, when it comes to responding, responding to the incidents, so we will mostly, as a part of today and the next week sessions, we will cover how to have the proper alerting managers or routing managers, routing mechanism and alerting mechanism in place, and how to set up those things. Okay. And prior to that, we just need to make sure that all these things that we are going to discuss are very clear with the requirements that we are going to set up. Like yesterday, we set up some dashboards, right? Unless and until we have the complete idea about what we are going to configure, these things will be like a kind of create a confusion while creating the alerts. So let's deep dive into all the things, and like how to define the severity of the applications, and how to define the criticality warning, and when to inform to the developers or the DevOps team or the SRE engineers, when to create a tickets rather than if it is kind of if that particular incident can be handled in a business hours. Okay, so those are kind of things we will be discussing, and based on the requirements, then we will create our alerts. Okay, so first of all, as we know, we have mostly we look into the severity 1, 2, 3 kind of issues, right? The severity 1 is nothing but in your application, if you have any kind of a complete outage, right, and not you are not able to access any feature of your application, that is nothing but the severity 1, correct? In such cases, what is the expected response, guys? The page now is nothing but you need to inform all the respective stakeholders or the respective teams, though it's kind of a dashboard. So it is whatever the application you are supporting, the first of all your application should inform everyone. Okay, for example, for the payment API down, we need to make sure all the payment related uh, owners, like product owners, are informed, or the DevOps on call members are informed. and the respective line managers for that particular service are informed and they are engaged right away. Right? Severity 2 is kind of a major degradation of the system. Correct? It is impacting your application health and your error budgets, and overall the error rate is quite high than your agreed SLO. Correct? Let's say 10% of the payment are failing. That is nothing but like it's way more than our 99.9% of the availability of the system, isn't it? So 10% is nothing but it is burning our overall SLO budget quickly. Like if you see, if we claim like 99.9% of the error budget availability, we claim that our system can have the maintenance for 43 minutes, correct? That we have discussed in our previous sessions. So if there are 10% of the payment failures, that is nothing but your overall downtime or your overall SLO is burning quickly. So for that, we again need to inform the dedicated teams. Again, it is kind of the team for which like we have seen the impact. The dedicated response is required for these things. For the severity 3, it's kind of not that kind of critical issue, but again, the attention is required. But that is kind of thing like issue can be checked in the office hours, or for which like we can create a simply P3 level or P4 level of tickets. There is a minor impact. The users may observe some kind of slowness in their application, but it is not stopping to perform their activities or the actions. So the user might face some kind of slowness while performing the payment, but it is not going to stop the payment. Eventually it will happen, but they will see a kind of slowness while accessing their app. So in such cases, the P3 tickets and with the proper, what is the kind of example like issue that we have seen. So with that, those issues can be checked in the business hours. Most of the things like we have seen, usually we do not able to understand, like whenever there is an issue, mostly we cannot differentiate between P1 and P2 at within a 5 minutes or so, right? Because we are just analyzing the impact, and everyone is checking what all services are done and what all services are impacting. So if it is a kind of severity 1 issues, there could be impact on multiple functionalities, right? Not only the payment. Multiple teams will start reaching out to the joining the war rooms and sharing their impact analysis and all, correct? So we may not be sure about what is the exact severity of the incident within first few minutes. So what you can do is, the best practice is if you think like, if the command manager thinks that okay, this is a critical one and it is impacting to the major applications based on their analysis, they can create a default. I mean, they can start with the severity 1 incident, okay? And if they notice that okay, only payment application was impacted, not all the functionalities are impacted, that can be later downgraded to the severity 2. Okay, that is that we can do. That is the best practice, because if your impact is high and but you are still with going with the severity 2, that means you are not considering that incident as a kind of that critical over here. So sometimes that also happens. I have seen couple of examples, like first they open the severity 2 incident, and as and when the other team started observing their failures, or once they joined the war rooms and they also started reporting the issues with the users impact, then they usually increase the severity to the severity 1. Okay, it's a kind of the call that need to be taken in the war rooms itself, but it's just kind of can be taken. This call usually taken care by the senior leadership to on the impact analysis. Okay. Any doubts or anything that you would like to add on here, or if you have any similar examples in your organization, you can discuss. Or if you are not sure about severity 1 2, there could be the incident analysis. Some organizations call them as the P1 and P2 incident. They may not the different there could be different naming being used, but down the line the meaning of the criticalness of the application remains same.
Yeah, Santosh. Just one question on this part.
Hmm.
Uh, uh, I mean, what are the interview questions expected on this? I mean,
Yeah,
how deep they go,
I'm
basically?
getting there only now.
Oh,
If you see, the next slide is about that only.
okay, okay.
Yeah. So mostly, we could see these kind of interview questions. Uh, what we have seen, like how do you decide the severity of your application? Okay. Like when there is a new application that you are going to configure, based on what you would configure the severity of the application, and that thing that we need to define based on the user impact. So how you need to answer it during the interview, um, based on the user impact, right? So as we know, mostly we configure our dashboards based on the user impact and user happiness, that we call it, right? So as you can see here, like mostly we define the severity of the application based on the user impact and how many users are currently impacted and what is the issue or the experience that they are having. Okay, and is there any alternative way for that particular if, let's say, if someone is trying to access or someone is trying to check the balance, usually if you see on the mobile or phone pay app, they have it on their home screen only, they have only check balance. But sometimes if that is not loading, is there any alternate way to check the balance? So there could be, like, they can go to their home payments page, and from there they can check in the statement what is the current balance and all, right? But again, based on these all these factors, we need to decide what is the kind of severity of your incident. And again, that is again depend upon the type of your service. If your service is quite critical one, it is a kind of a P1 application for your organization, then by default your services has to be under P1 and P2 category. Okay. And again, apart from this, like what we can mention in the interviews, apart from the user impact, uh, so we can start with the answer, like we usually check our we usually define the severity of the incident based upon the user impact, and we do analysis of the user of experience, and we check what is the wider impact of this application, and if there are any other functionalities that are impacted due to this incident. Apart from that, we need to check we usually check if there are multiple applications are impacted, then definitely it is going to be a severity one application, severity one. If only one of the application or feature got impacted within a critical service, then usually we later downgrade it to the P2 or the severity 2 level incident. Okay, so this is something that you can start in the interviews, because mostly we need to start these are the expected interviews for the SRE guys, so you have to be very sure about how it is defined in your organization. Okay, so there must be a documentation in place for the standard SOP. Okay, just check that in your organization, check what is the severity 1, severity 2 categories listed for your products. Okay, and based on that, just prepare what all kind of services that are under severity 1, what are under severity 2, and accordingly. So when you have to give an example in the interview, you should be confident enough to tell these are our services that falls under this, and I have attended couple of war rooms, and I have been a part of couple of severity triages. So based on my experience, I know these are the our services falls under this category. Clear, guys?
Yes.
And one more thing, like again, like this is like when do we consider that not to declare any kind of incident? Okay, mostly see, incident is directly like nothing but there is a user impact, correct? So if there is no user impact, then there is no need of creating the incident. uh, but if there is any kind of errors that is impacting your error budgets, okay, then in such cases, what we can do, if you might have heard about the problem management, right? The problem management is nothing but it's not kind of incident level of issue, but internally someone has to address those kind of issues. That is nothing but the problem ticket. So what you can do, those you can declare as a problem ticket, and that can be tracked later, or in business hours as well. Okay. Again, when we deep dive into the alert part, when we configure the alerts, right? Sometimes like when we notice that there is a kind of false alerts we get sometimes, right? You got an alert from the Teams or whatever the tools that you have configured, but in 5 minutes you logged in and you check everything is normal. You are not seeing any issues. So what's your take on that, and how you will troubleshoot? Or will you be going to investigate, or what's your call on that? So that again, that kind of interviews is expected, guys. So you cannot say, okay, if everything is looking fine at the moment, I will not take any action. But the thing is, like, from the interviewer point of view, they expect at least you should investigate, you should troubleshoot the issue. Okay, and you will make sure if it is a false alert, a false alarm, it's not going to trigger again. So what you need to take that action on that alert, correct? So that kind of actions that you will take care, you will perform. So this is how you need to. These are the typically type of interview questions are expected if the organization is looking for incident management as well. Usually they ask this kind of interview. As for SRE, that is one of the critical role, actually, incident management. All right. Moving on to the incident roles. Okay. Incident roles, like, usually they have different some other we have seen organizations have their naming conventions for the incident triaging, right? So in some incident cases, like, we have seen incident commander, usually who usually drive the incident call, who usually engage the respective teams, and usually assign the roles, like who need to check what, right? And they usually follow with the respective the assigned roles, like what is the exact status at the moment, and what is the ETA to fix it, and all these kind of follow-up things is being handled by the incident commander, who usually take care of handling the incident call. Okay, operation lead is nothing but who usually you might have seen the on-call person, right? Who support out of office hours, and who usually join the such kind of war rooms, correct? Let's say from the payments team, someone must be, let's say it could be SRE team, could be DevOps team, it could be the developers, right? So if you notice that their pods are getting crashed, or they are down, or they are seeing some slowness, usually the team who usually take the actions on these particular activities, they are the operations lead. Okay, they perform the fix, correct? And uh, they inform in the triage. Okay, let's say they are observing that their payment application is having some kind of slowness, or they are observing that the disk utilization on the particular server is quite high. So before performing any kind of action, they will inform in the severity call or the incident war room call. Okay, guys, we are observing this kind of issues on our application, and we are going to increase the storage on the application, right? So this is nothing but he is going to report, or the respective operations team is going to report to the incident commander. Okay, and communication that we have discussed, right? If something that your users are experiencing, correct? uh, everything has to be informed in a proper manner to the stakeholders, to your higher management, and to your customers as well, right? So those kind of comms are being sent again by the I mean, usually that's the first thing that we have to do in our incident call when we start, when we determine what is the user impact, what all functionalities are impacted. Those all things need to be communicated properly to the your higher leadership, senior leadership, and the respective stakeholders. Scribe, sometimes we call it as a we mostly it is done by, taken care by the incident commander only. Okay, so in service now we have that feature available, right? So timestamp, like at what time the issue got reported, and what time your alert got triggered, and what time the respective DevOps team or the on-call teams have joined, and what is the action they have taken. It's a kind of timely activity, or the timeline for that particular issue, or taken care during the incident call. Okay, let's say the incident started at 8 o'clock. 8:15, the respective payments team joined the call. 8:30, they analyzed and they found out that there is latency with the application. They are going to increase the RAM and the overall memory of their application for this issue. Okay, 8:45, the issue got resolved. So, like, they are maintaining all the things in a timely manner, right? So that is nothing but the overall incident usually the critical incident usually been conducted in a real time. In the same way, usually that happens. But if it is not, then the incident management process is not following the proper process over there. Okay, so what is the mostly we have seen such cases as well. The incident commander instead of driving the call, or instead of taking the actions on escalation and what to do, what not to, assigning the issues, assigning the task to the operations team, it lets the incident commander itself started looking into the issue, or started debugging into the issue. So that is the kind of failure, because uh, most of the time, like if the incident commander itself is start looking into that part, then mostly the other part is likely to miss. They may not able to send the communications on time, and nobody's conducting the incident properly. No one knows what is happening in the incident. Right? It's all about like the commander is only taking care of all the actions. So that use cases also, that scenarios also we have seen if the incident management process is not proper in such organizations. Okay. Any questions or any queries on this process, guys?
Yeah. No questions, but I would like to add a point. Like, I worked in many incidents. Like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it used to be very tense. Like, uh,
Yep.
yeah, if the SRE team is not able to find the solution or not able to fix the issue, they will call the higher team lead or senior managers to join the call, and
Yes.
like all of them will work. Like, it will be very tense, like environment.
Absolutely, absolutely. You rightly pointed out, Awesome. See, the thing is, why it is tense situation. Everyone is trying to resolve the incident as early as possible. Okay, that's why there is a key role for incident commander to engage the right person at the right time. If let's say you are the DevOps person from your team, or the SRE engineer from your team, and you join the severity one incident, and you notice that you need to take some kind of action, but you are not able to perform it. Ideally, it's not a failure for you, but when you take some time and it is causing a delay in incident resolution, then it is definitely going to escalate the issue. So the best practice is, if you are not sure about what is going to, let's say we are a junior SRE or senior SRE, whatever role we are in, and let's say you notice that there is an issue within your application and you need to take some kind of action. Let's say restarting the pods, or whatever it is. So best practices are usually to join or to engage your senior leadership, your managers or leads, and share your observations. I am seeing this issue and it looks like our application is having some kind of issues over here, and I think we should restart the pods, and please advise if we can proceed further. So that is where, like, only it's kind of sharing the responsibilities and having a more analysis for the issues that you have observed. If your analysis is wrong, and if that restart did not fix the issue, again it is going to take the time for incident resolution. That is why whatever the call you take in the incident call, it's a kind of tense situation always. Like, that 1 hour feels like it's a kind of ages, because you won't be able to look outside of the screen also. I have seen, like, people do not get time to go to washroom as well, right? So that kind of tense situation will be. So it's always what I recommend. Make sure your dashboard is covering most of the things. It is able to pinpoint all the minor issues, and it should be able to go till the depth of the issue, so that it will be helpful for you when you are in such kind of tense situation. For now, see, the things are when the things are going well, no one cares, and we start thinking about how AI is going to replace our jobs. But when you are into the severity one or severity two related issue, the even the AI can't be able to determine what exactly the issue is and how to take the action right now. Okay, understood, guys? That's why I focus on observability and monitoring thing, because as if you go to the granular level for your application, the more visibility you have for your application. That will help you in the tense situation, in the severity 1 kind of, severity 2 kind of incident management in calls. When you open the dashboard, within a minute you get to know, okay, there is an issue with your application. That is why we have created some chaos start and chaos stop things, right? So that kind of situation happens in the real time as well. You will suddenly see the spike, and most of the times we go into the panic mode, because it's kind of situation that we have not acted upon in past. That is why incident management is one of the critical thing for SRE roles, guys. Hope I'm clear on this.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Okay, so again, when it comes to the incident part, right? Uh, the common question that we get in the interview, uh, even I usually ask, see, the thing is, if someone has really worked on the observability or monitoring or alerting part, uh, we get to know uh, from the incident part only. So usually ask, okay, have you ever faced any kind of severity 1 or severity 2 related incident? Uh, and have you tried to resolve it by yourself? What was your role and how did you fix it? And can you walk me through the entire process of the major incident part? So this is the quite common question. You might have also encountered this one, correct? So in such cases, how you have to start answering and how you have to start your approach of troubleshooting the issue, correct? So based on that, the interviewer will get to know if you have really worked on the severity incident or not. So to start with, you have to start with the declare the severity of the application. Your incident commander will not get to know what is the user impact, because he is only conducting the, or he is just driving the incident call. You are the person who are going to give him the user impact, the overall experience to the user, and what is the severity of the application. Okay. um, Again, so that is the one critical part. So when you start your answering the questions, like usually you should be starting with, I look into my dashboards that we have in place, and we check the user impact, we check the errors, and we usually check what users are experiencing, and we inform in the war room that this is the user impact, and based on that, the incident commander take the call whether to consider this as a severity 1 or severity 2. The incident commander or the incident manager usually take care of to coordinate with the respective team. They do not, you no need to mention of that they do not and all these things, but it comes we need to answer your approach over here. So you have given your overall severity of the application, user impact and all. Based on that, you will be your alerting in place. So based on that, whatever the teams are get the alert where they are getting the application related issues, usually we call out to them. We have the on-call details with us and we engage them, and the respective teams look into it. They take the necessary actions to resolve the issues. On the other hand, when we are on the war rooms, usually we send our timely update, what is the current experience, if we are seeing any kind of performance improvement or still the issues are there, or there is increase in the error rate. All these kinds of observations we keep on updating in the war room. Okay, apart from that, we need to send our based on that, the communication is sent to the senior stakeholders, and if we have to update to our end users or our customers, we our incident manager usually take the call to apply the banners or to send any kind of inconvenience message when they are trying to access our application. Okay. Yeah, so that's all we do as a part of incident management, and that is how you need to start with, and that is how you need to uh, complete your overall incident investigation process. Now, once this investigation is done, let's say, and the later part, like I have the payments team noticed that there is an issue with their application and they fixed it. Post that incident call, like we had a blameless RCA call, postmortem call, with the respective payments team, wherein we discussed about what was the issue and what went wrong, and how we can ensure that this issue will not occur in future again. So all these steps where we had a postmortem call in the incident for that particular incident, and that kind of incident we have not observed again as per my experience, and that was my experience with the major incident that I have worked on. Okay, so that is how you need to explain, like, or you have to explain your scenarios and what all actions that you have taken. Your approach should be practical based. You should not be giving a kind of a vague answer, like it's a kind of answer that somewhere we have learned about. And if you are not very sure about what you are going to I mean what the next question could be, okay, uh, for this now let's say this you explain like about the payment issue in your application, right? Let's say you have noticed or sometimes most of the like the SRE interviews I have seen, we have deployed some changes, and due to the changes these changes we have seen some kind of severity one related incident. The follow-up questions usually ask, you have deployed the change in the production, why this issue was not found in the pre-production? You have to be ready with these follow-up questions as well. Okay, so you're getting my point, right? So how you drive the overall approach during the incident management, the follow-up questions will be based on the answer that you give. Okay, hope I'm clear, guys. Hope you are understanding what I'm trying to explain from the interview point of view. Yeah, Abhishek, SRE is nothing but the ops member. Incident IC is command, incident command commander, or they usually call a TCC command center. They drive the incident call. They do not perform any kind of activity. Let's say if your application has multiple dependencies, and you joined as an SRE engineer in the war room. Okay, since you have the access to all the dashboard and everything, and you joined the war room, you will inform to the IC that, okay, I'm seeing the application issue. There is a latency, and my dashboard, the Grafana dashboard, as I could see, there are database errors from this downstream API. So I need someone from the database team. So he will ask, okay, what do you have any further details for this database? So from the Loki logs, you can share those logs, and he will engage the database team. He will call out to the database team and the rest of the teams. If you think like, okay, I need support from these teams, and this issue fix need to be checked by these teams. So the incident commander usually engage the respective teams. Their role is to drive the incident call. Our role as an SRE, we are mostly the ops. Like mostly we will take care of the incident part. Like what are the actions that we are going to take? Is it clear? Yeah. Thank you. All right, guys. So this is what we are going to implement for our application. As you know, like we on our SRE lab, we already have this most of the features. The containers are running, and you might have seen in the Prometheus configuration file, we have this rules file, right? Rules.yaml file, wherein we have configured these rules. And when we try to access with the local host 9090, right, we are checking that this alert is firing or not, correct? So that's the alert that is configured. And if you can see here, the overall the alerting pipeline here, if you can see how that works, right? So mostly it starts with the Prometheus alerting part. Okay, so when the alert should fire, and when the alert should be like what is the kind of, to whom it is, to we need to inform, what is the severity of the application, all these things we need to update in our rules.yaml file. Okay, now if you see this particular code or the JSON parameters over here, we are configuring the alert for our payment API, right? So what is the alert we are configuring over here? If my payment error ratio for the 5 minutes window, if it is more than 0.0.5 percentage, then it is what is going to take, it's going to be, then we are informing so this is the window. Okay, sometimes what will happen, we have seen some kind of spike on our application. The payment app, sometimes it will show some kind of spike, and again within a minute it will be back to the normal trend again. So that's why we are giving some time for Prometheus to unnecessarily avoid the false alerting. So it will check after 2 minutes, and again if it is having that kind of alert, then it will be considering as a severity critical, since it is the payment application. To whom we need to inform, we will be informing it to the payments team. Okay, and what all details that we need to provide over here, uh, the severity, payment, and all these details we will be providing. Okay, now runbook is nothing but, in this runbook we will be providing, let's say if the respective team has to access our dashboard, or if something related to the description of the incident. Okay, you know that this payment API, what's the functionality of the payment API and all that details, you can have that in the runbook. So with that also, that will help them to troubleshoot the issue quickly. Okay, so just the same explanation we have given over here. Expression is nothing but the condition that we are placing, correct? And it is as we know, we are mostly, our conditions are mostly on the SLO basis, correct? That is 99.9%, and that's the number, the week 1 and week 2 sessions that we acted on, right? So that is nothing but, it's not a kind of rational number that we are giving. It's a proper count we have to calculate for our application based on the severity of the application, correct? And for how long we must hold it, otherwise it will keep on paging. Like let's say if you do not have this condition, even if it our Prometheus script runs in every 15 seconds, right? So every 15 seconds the it will respective teams will get notified. That's what we need to stop. We need to analyze it. Okay, is it happening for our last 2 minutes or so? Then only we are going to inform them. Labels is nothing but structured data here, like to whom, what is the severity, and the team that we are going to inform. Right? Is it clear, guys, with this configuration file? Because we are going to create the same configuration file, and we are going to configure the alerting mechanism for our payment app. So make sure.
Santosh, can you please explain the runbook again?
Yeah. So the thing is, whatever the payment, so the alert that we are configuring over here, correct? So it is like what we are checking, the payment API error rate we are considering, right? So for that, expression that we are writing is nothing but the condition. So what is the condition we are writing? Based on the error rate. So as per our SLO, what is the SLO that we have set up? It is 99.95, correct? For SLA, we have the SLA of 99.90, but for our standard SLO, we have set it to 99.95. That means we are left out with 0.05%. So if our error rate is exceeding more than 0.05, okay, in a 5 minutes talk, 5 minutes of overall trend analysis, okay, then the next thing is, for every, like it will check by default, our Prometheus script runs in every 15 seconds. If we do not have this condition, it will run this check for this expression in every 15 seconds. So to avoid that, like we are setting up this for condition over here for 2 minutes. Labels is nothing but who owns the service and what is the criticality of the application. It's a payment app, so nothing but its severity would be critical, and the teams that we need to inform is payments team. Annotations is nothing but the summary or the description of the incident that will be given, or that will be sent as a part of alert. Okay, it's a severity to alert payments error rate is more than 5%, so that kind of alert will be sent to the payments team. With the runbook in the sense, we have the documentation, like let's say there is a standard process, or let's say that you are setting up, you know that for this kind of issues you need to restart some kind of servers. So you can have that kind of runbook where you can update the steps to mitigate that issue. Okay, Is it clear now? So in the nutshell, if you can see, alert rule is nothing but rule that we are defining in the Prometheus. This rule we are defining in the Prometheus, correct? Alert manager is informing to the respective teams based on the severity and the team type of the incident, type of the alert. Receiver is nothing but it is sending the alert to the respective on-call members, right? How loudly? Based on the criticality of the application. If your application is severity 1, it has to be informed immediately. If it is not that critical, severity 3, then you can create a P3 level of incident. Okay. Is it fine now?
Yes, Santosh.
Santosh, just one quick question. I mean, the file, the thing that you just shown over like alert expression file, is this a part of, Prometheus JSON file, or this is a
Yes.
part of? Okay,
It's,
okay, okay,
it's a Prometheus YAML file only. If
okay,
you
okay,
can see our Prometheus file.
okay, okay.
Okay, let me show you that part. I will be sharing this SRE lab file again once we
Okay.
start implementing. So if you see this Prometheus file we have, right? So
Hmm.
in this Prometheus file, see, this is what we have set up, correct?
Hmm.
This is already built in. If you see, we have already on your system also, we already have this configuration.
Okay.
Why
Okay.
we, I mean, see, just to check whatever our alerting is working or not, we already defined over here. But again, when we have to define it by ourselves, we should be aware of what all things that we are adding over here. It has to be proper, and if there is any kind of missing indentation or anything that you missed, this will not, this is not going to support.
Okay, okay. And if my application is on Kubernetes, for example, it's on EKS, okay. So where this file will be hosted, I mean, is it a part of, it should be a part of Kubernetes configurations, or any
It,
YAMLs, or
it is standard the Prometheus configuration.
okay,
Yeah.
inside Kubernetes, you mean?
Huh. So
Okay,
wherever your Prometheus instance is running, right?
okay, okay,
So wherever your Prometheus server's instance is
okay.
running,
Hmm.
this rules file will be picked up by the server only. So
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
when you initialize the server, Prometheus server, this
Hmm.
instance will be picked up.
Okay, okay. So this
I
configuration
think
should be on that server, you mean
Server.
Prometheus server? Okay,
Yeah.
okay, okay, okay.
So if you can see the
Kubernetes server in the
structure,
sense, actually, it is storing where somewhere at the location, right?
correct. Yeah,
Okay.
the configuration file. So yesterday we checked about the target down, right? When if our node exporter or your server is down, and if it is not able to export it, so we have seen this infrastructure alert was enabled, right? So how are we checking? If you remember, we are checking if the Prometheus is able to access the target or not with the up command on the PromQL. If up for up, we are getting the one value. That means your PromQL is able to connect with the targets, correct? So what exactly this rule is now doing? If you see, alert name is target down. Expression it is checking if the up value is equal to 0. That means your target is down. Check for every 1 minute. If it is down, severity is going to be critical, and the service owner is okay. The type of the service is infrastructure, and the platform team, because mostly this kind of configuration is done by, let's say, if the owner of this particular target is or the Prometheus is like platform team is owning this feature, then the platform team page means like the alert, it's set as a true. That means in a coming session we will check that as well. That means they will be immediately informed when they get this kind of alert. And if you see here, the expressions that we have written, it's already the PromQL expressions only. There is nothing new that we are implementing. It is just for that particular expression, we are creating the alert.
One question, like, yeah, as you said, for if the target is down, then it will we will sentence severity to alert, right? But
Yes.
why it is severity to? Because It doesn't affect users, right?
No, target down means your application is down, right? Target down, that is nothing but your service instance itself is down.
Oh, okay, got it.
Your payment app itself is down if target is down.
Oh, okay.
Right? So that's why like it's a kind of severity issue. And again, why we consider it as severity? Okay, as you said, like it could be other way around as well. Possibly only the Prometheus instance could be the node exporter instance. If that only
Yeah.
instance is down and your payment app is running, then again it is a false alert, right? But but the thing is, if your target is down, you are not going to get any kind of visualizations for your payment app on the dashboard. Correct, because your target itself is not the retriever is not able to pull any kind of information, right? Since your node exporter instance is down, even though your payment app is up, our users like able to perform the payment operations, but on the visualizations part, you are not able to see anything on the dashboard. That's why it is critical.
Okay.
And that will again give us the wrong alert, right? If this target is down, correct, what will happen, the over all the dashboard you will see, they will not show any kind of information. And again, whatever the alerts that you have configured, that will they might trigger. Let's say you have configured the alert for if my traffic on my application is back to 0 or so. If your target is down, you're not going to get any kind of value. Those kind of alerts may get triggered again.
Okay.
It's a kind of cascading impact, right? Because of the target is down. So
yeah.
That's why it's a severity too. Is it clear now?
Yeah.
Okay. So the next part is about the alert manager that we will be discussing about the alert manager as well. So why this alert manager, like mostly we have seen the Prometheus has the rule-based mechanism, right? Now, when it comes to the alert mechanism, alert manager is like is nothing but okay. I will explain it in the later part because I need to show it once our instances are up. Okay, so we will discuss it properly once we have the visualizations or the local host for the alert manager is up. Okay, we will start that. We will discuss this particular topic over there. All right. So, from the interview point of view, again, we might get these kind of questions in the interview. How do you configure the alert for your application? Okay, and what all kind of alerting you will consider while we have to set up the alert. Okay, so what makes the good alert? Like whatever the alert you received, it has to be actionable. Okay, something like we are not configuring the alerts, that is a kind of where like we are just checking it and not performing any action on the application. It's a kind of what we can say, alerts that are not in actually actionable and not in use at all if your alerts are not that kind of critical. Okay, so it has to be actionable. It has to reflect something that the users are feeling, right? So when we configure the high error rate for our payment application, that is nothing but the users are facing some kind of issues on their app. Well, let's say it could be the payment transactions are failing, right? So in that context, we need to configure the alert. Okay, and the key things that you have to explain in the interview, it has to be first of all, whatever the alert I configure, it has to be actionable. That means the with my whatever the alert I get, that indicates that the users are impacting or users are having some users are experiencing some kind of issues, right? Again, the alerts that I configure is purely based on the SLO indicator. It's not any kind of threshold or raw threshold or any rational value that we will place. We will define it a proper SLO, and based on that we configure alerts. For how long, that has to be for how long duration we need to to check the duration of that alert to run. So that means if you have seen every 1 minute, for the target down, it has to check in every 1 minute. But if your application, let's say the latency, correct, the payments latency application, right, for which usually let's say the latency is increasing, and to back to the normal it takes at least like let's say 2 or 3 minutes or so. In that case, you no need to have this for condition to run it in every 1 minute, because the historical data that you are looking for that usually takes some time, and that will increase the latency. And you know that okay, due to this endpoint we are experiencing some latency, and it will be back to normal in 1 or 2 minutes. So for condition will change based on the type of the issue or based on the type of the criticality of the application, and we need to define that as well. Otherwise, the script will start triggering the firing the alerts in every 15 seconds. Again, okay. So severity and the team labels for the routing purpose, as we discussed, severity and the receiver, like who need to what is the severity and whom to engage, correct, we have discussed over here in the labels. So that we need to define in the labels. And the runbook is nothing but if there are any documentation or any steps to be performed, so those things we need to mention in the runbook. It is not mandatory. Again, it is not mandatory. As an SRE ops engineer, we are not sure about what all steps that the operations team need to perform. It's you can keep this runbook option as an optional. Okay, not that kind of mandatory. Okay, so if it is nothing about 3 a.m., that means if the issue is not that critical, it can be checked in the office hours, then we can raise the P3 level. We can create a P3 level of incident. So that is how you define the proper alert. Okay, we might get this kind of question as well, like can you tell me how will you define how will you configure the alert for your application? So this is how see, most of the candidate I have seen, when we ask this kind of question, how do you configure the alert? Okay, mostly the answers that I have I heard is like, I click on the alerting part on the Grafana, then I click on this, and then I click on Teams, and I configure this, and I will get the alert. No, this is not the, I mean, yeah, from there also we can configure, right? The alert we can configure, but uh, ideally it should be having some kind of actions, or it should be impacting from the user. It's not like we are configuring any alerts. You might have seen the people usually in the organization configure n number of alerts which are not useful at all, correct? You getting my point, guys? When we how to tackle such kind of interview questions in a proper technical way.
Yes, Santosh.
Okay. Uh, again, now when it comes, like you might have faced this kind of issues as well, or incident as well, or the interview questions as well. If the single node fails, you get 50 alerts, or you you might have heard about n number of alerts are getting. Let's say, as I said, like we were discussing, the Krishnan has mentioned, when the target node is down, why it's kind of a P2 level, why it can be if my payment app is running, correct. That is again one point. But let's say if your target is down, by default we have configured alert based on the application, our payment application. So what all things that we are considering over here is like the latency, the number of requests, the traffic, and everything we are considering, that we are creating the alert based on the target is up. When the target itself is down, then the other alerts may trigger, because your main alert is down, target itself is down, correct. So that kind of thing, again, how will you do the grouping for that? So we will be discussing that part as well in coming session, like when we start implementing the things, how to do the grouping. Okay, and how do you handle those situations, like in the, let's say you are performing some kind of patching activity or the maintenance activity, how do you silence the alerts? Okay, so this is also critical, guys. You make sure that it's a kind of you have your whatever the alerts you are configuring, it has to be a proper well managed, so that whenever there is such kind of activities, you should be able to silence this kind of alerts. And you can expect this kind of questions again in the interview. Let's say I have configured an alert, and it runs in every 2 minutes, and my patching activity is for 4 hours. I will be getting hundreds of alerts, right? If it doesn't have the silence feature. isn't it? So that question also you can expect in the interview, how to silence the or how to mute the particular rule or alert. Okay, so that we will be discussing when we start working on the alert manager part.
So, Santosh, for that last thing, for
Yeah,
plant maintenance,
yeah.
so I mean, I know that you will be explaining later. So,
Mm,
if you say that in few words, so is it
mm,
something a I mean, is there any feature that has been introduced in Prometheus, or maybe
yeah,
not in Prometheus, but in Grafana or something like that, where we can silence?
yeah.
Because generally, what I do, or maybe what I have followed, I have seen like it's something. So there is a maintenance activity, then generally people do send out a notification that yeah, there is
Mm.
a
Maintenance
I mean
patching
maintenance
activity.
activity, patch activity. So in case of any alerts, please ignore, and
Mhm.
in case of anything, please get back to so and so team. So
Correct.
generally, I have seen like that. But so I mean,
Yeah.
how are you planning to explain that? I mean, what is the
Issue.
thing?
Absolutely. That's the yeah. See, the thing is like whenever there is such kind of patching activities, why first of all we need to see why do we get the maintenance alert. First of all,
Hmm,
thing is not all the organizations or the, let's say I am doing the database patching activity.
hmm,
The thing why I need to send the patching maintenance mail to everyone within organization is uh, not all the teams that are using my database instance have the alert in place.
hmm,
Okay, first of all, like, see, if I do not send any kind of alert that I'm performing the database maintenance patching or maintenance activity, and if let's say that my upstream services or the service owners they do not have any alert in place, suddenly what will happen, they will start the members will, if they do not place that maintenance window or banner on their application, user will try to access it and they will encounter the issue, and then again the developer team will join, and then they will get to know, okay, there is a patching going on and due to which our application is down.
hmm,
To avoid that kind of excessive work or informing, I mean at the wrong time, and since there is no alerting and everything in place, what we that's why the database team usually send the maintenance activities, so that whoever the upstream service owners are using my database, they should be aware of it. Now when it comes to the alerting part, if let's say your service has a proper alerting in place. Okay, now thing is, let's say the database team is performing the patching activity, they are your downstream services. Now, what we can do, we have the feature from the UI alert manager. We
hmm.
can silence that. Even from the
Okay.
Grafana, we can silence that. There is an option called mute, and that will ask you for how long you have to keep this alert on mute.
Hmm,
You can give a time window that is matching with the particular change window. Okay, let's say the change is for 4 hours from 8 to 12. So you can mute that particular window. You can keep that alert on silence from 8 to 12. That custom window also you can keep for your alert.
hmm. And
That's all.
SRE,
Yeah.
sorry to cut you.
Yeah.
So SRE part is to provide that feature in that alert, right? And not to exactly adjust that alerts during the patching. So that should be of operations team, right? That should be, I mean,
Correct.
adjusting, making that silence. Okay, okay, got it. Okay, yeah, makes sense.
The
Yeah.
SRE team is like is going to is the owner of that alert. Okay, whatever the alert you are configuring, you will be owning that.
Hmm.
Now, when you get any kind of notifications from the respective team, it's SRE team's responsibility to keep those alerts on mute.
Oh, okay, okay,
So we have to coordinate with the respect of the with respect to the applications. Now let's
okay.
say there is a database and they informed you. Now you keep that alert on silent mode, but because you are only owning that alert, right? Let's say there is a payment activity, payment maintenance activity. They are again going to inform, or you know that there is a change request in your window in your queue,
Hmm.
and you will ask, okay, is it impact marked as a true for your CR? And they said, yeah, it's marked as a true and it is going to impact to the customers. Then you can mute it.
Hmm. Okay.
So thing is, it's not like how to keep that. So that's why for a SRE role, it's not only um, like configuring the alerts and okay, my alerting part is done. No, the that's why like whenever there is a patching, maintenance, any CR window, any major rollout release, feature, it is planned. That is why the SRE has the huge dependency on creating the dashboard, visualizations, proper endpoint configurations, proper alerting, how to silence them, how to configure them based on the requirement. That's why it is a not single feature for an SRE, or there is a single, that like if you prepare something and you are good with the SRE. No, you have to adapt with the situations. Getting my point? Like,
Yeah.
see, based on the type of the criticalness within your organization, we need to adapt. For SRE, there is no standard roles and responsibilities.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So now thing is the on-call thing. On-call thing. How many of you are supporting the on-call or working on as an on-call support? By the way, today I'm working as an on-call. So yesterday you might have heard some noise. So I was in the war room. So whoever is the on-call, they need to support over the weekend, and in the weekdays also they need to support out of the office hours. So if any one of you are supporting as an on-call, uh, if you are, let me know. Or I
Yes.
will.
Yes. I'm supporting as on call. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, okay. So
Yeah.
guys, like on-call member is nothing but he is like working on mostly out of business hours. He need to support during the weekends and out of business hours whenever there is a kind of alert. He need to be available within a given time. Let's say there is a severity alert triggered within 5 or 10 minutes. You have to be available. Okay. Now that brings one more point that we call it as a OLA, that we have discussed about SLA, SLO, SLI, right? So there is one more concept called OLA, organizational level of work agreement. Is anyone aware of it? OLA concept, like you guys implement. If you are aware, you might be working on that part, but you might not be aware of it. So thing is, there is a kind of agreement within the organization. So when there is a kind of particular alert get triggered or any kind of issues get notified, the respective on-call member has to be online within first 10 minutes. They should not be taking more than 10 minutes or 15 minutes. Or if he is outside or is not able to connect, is having some issues with the network, his secondary on-call should be able to connect in 15 or 20 minutes. That is nothing but the operational level, organizational level agreement. Okay, so that is like it is for the on-call applied. The same is applicable for all the services or service owners as well. If it's a database, let's say I'm trying to, I need some details from the database. The database member should be able to provide me the requested data in so or so timeline, 15 minutes, 20 minutes. That is the organizational level of agreement. And again, it is similar to SLO. It is only within the organization. It is not outside the organization level agreement. It's within the organization, but it is the best practice to follow to have a proper, whenever we are driving the incident calls and all these things. This OLA plays an important role. Otherwise, let's say if there is no OLA, anyone can join at any time based on their priorities, isn't it? So that's why that is about OLA. Sometimes I don't see this. I mean, actively asked in the interviews, but just to let you know what OLA means. So OLA is nothing but this operational level agreement within the organization. Okay. Um, okay. So what on-call people? So mostly when we set up, when we have this on-call in place, right? Why there is a alert fatigue is reliability risk, not a moral issue. Now let's discuss about it. You configure alert for each and every thing for your service, and you notice that uh, uh, I have seen that I mean most of our data team members have done that. They configured alert for each and every endpoint, and now every time they are getting, every day they are getting almost like 50 to 100 alerts. So with that, they are missing the important mails and any such things, because these alerts are flooding their inbox. Correct. So what they do eventually, they will set up one. We will set up one rule in the Outlook, and we will send all these kind of alerts into the spam or kind of alerts directory we will create, and we will not read those alerts at all. Have you guys ever have done similar kind of things? Because even I have faced this kind of thing, and this is nothing but the alert fatigue. You are getting n number of alerts, 40, 50, 100 alerts, and at some time you will not look into those alerts at all. You will just simply redirect those alerts to some other directory. So why we have to have to configure the proper alerts, right? Why alerting is critical? Because the alerts that we are going to configure, it must be actionable, right? Actionable in the sense it has to, you need to log in. Let's say you are observing now. What is the critical alert? I will give an example. Your disk space on the particular server is 80% or more than 85%. So that is nothing but an actionable ticket. If you keep that alert open, your server will consume all the disk space, and it may eventually crash. So now what is the actionable thing over here? You will definitely, the on-call member has to log in. He need to clean up the memory, or he need to clean up the disk space, to clean up the logs, right? So that's how we need to configure the alerts. And every alert needs a runbook. Now here runbook is a kind of different based on the alert that we configure. Now let's say, as we discussed about the disk space, right? Now what you can do when you configure the alert for disk space alert, in a runbook you can mention, please check all these commands. Please check the disk on this particular mount. Please check the disk on this one. Please check last 15 days of data, right? So like this kind of instructions you can give the commands in a runbook, so that whenever the on-call member logs in, it will be handy for him to start performing those actions. Apart from that, rotate weekly. So I have seen like many members, like whoever is doing the on-call, they perform the on-call like in a stretch for 15 days or 1 month or so. So that is not, it is not uh, going to, I mean, support, the team will definitely going to exhaust if they support day in day out, and even on the weekends. So that's why it's always recommended to have a weekly on call rotation. Okay. And to have a two tiers, as I mentioned, if primary has to step out for some critical or some emergency work, there has to be secondary available to support him. Or let's say there is a P01 or severity 1 incident going on, and the on-call primary member is stayed a complete night for, let's say, 8 or 10 hours or so, and that incident is still going on. He cannot stretch after certain limit, right? So there has to be support required from the secondary. That's why we should always have the primary and secondary. And yeah, again, as you know, like this on-call whoever is supporting the on-call, they usually get the on-call rotation allowances as well. Okay. And follow the sun where possible. That means uh, mostly have the on-call based on their time zone. So usually most of the organizations have the on-call, like for Indian hours, they have the on-call timing from starting from 7 a.m. in the morning till 6 p.m. in the evening. The night support is done by the onshore team, usually from the USA. That's why follow the sun means uh, even if there is a issue at 3 a.m. at the night, there is an on-call person who is sitting in USA who usually support that kind of alert, who usually look into that alert. Correct. So if it is possible, if you have the on-call support from the onshore team, then it's better to follow, have their support. If not there, then definitely we need to work at the night as well. If we get any such kind of alert at night. Weekly, review the page volume monthly, and whatever the alerts or callouts you get from the alert manager, we need to review them monthly. Uh, that means like whatever the alerts we are getting, is it the proper alerts that we are getting? Are the all the alerts are actionable? Are we getting any alerts that is not required? Those all things that we need to review in a monthly basis. Okay. Time off after the bad night. I have seen like mostly organizations support these kind of support to the members, on-call members. Like if they have to work on all the weekends, complete Saturday, Sunday, they did not even get time off for their family, then usually they support to have a time off on 1 day of a comp of that they get. Okay, so no, from interview point of view, there is nothing to, I mean, mostly you may not expect anything from this one, but uh, if there are any on-call support required, they specifically mentioned the SRE engineer should be ready to work on the weekends. Okay, that means you have to support as an on-call, and for the on-call person, you have to be ready to, support all these things. You getting my points? Why usually people do not encourage to get into SRE sometimes? Uh, you might have seen whoever into a day off or SRE, they always carry a laptop wherever they go with a dongle,
Correct.
Yeah,
and
that is a
that
common thing.
that's the life of typical SRE
Yeah,
and
correct.
day off guys. So that is a kind of, I mean, we can't deny that it's a part of our role, and we can't deny that, and even we cannot hand over it to anyone. So
We
yeah,
trust nobody.
we trust nobody. We don't trust even AI. So that's why
Uh,
that's why it is the critical job, right? So um, so from the interview point of view, see, these kind of questions will be asked at the senior level. Okay, so when you have to set up the on-call rotation, if any one of you is working on scheduling the on-call for your team, okay, and if you any one of you are at the senior level and you need to define a proper on-call or you need to schedule it, then only you have to mostly look into this kind of scenario. Like if your if your team is burning out on the on-call, how will you reduce it, right? And how do you decide paging versus ticketing? All these things are like, if you are applying for the senior level, or if you're working and if you have the experience into working, defining the on-call schedule, then you can go through it. Otherwise, it's a kind of optional thing. Okay, now, all right. So we discussed, so far we discussed about the incident part, right? We have gone through all the use cases and we discussed how to set up the alerts and all. We will start the demo in the coming session, right? Um, so far, guys, any doubts or anything that in your mind for from the alerting, or anything that you would like to have in your mind? Else we can move on to the next part. It will be the quick one. It's kind of a postmortem thing. It's not that kind of a technical thing. Just the process actually. Again, it will be asked in the interview for sure, but I just wanted to make sure it is also being covered.
yeah, so I just have one small question. Something.
Yeah. Tell
So
me.
as we seen in today's lecture, that lots of interview questions, lots of theoretical part
Hmm.
that we should make some story around it for
Yeah.
the questions that interviewer asking about us. Okay,
Correct.
but I just had a doubt. Is this questions really matters?
Hmm.
Because I actually attended two SRE interviews. Okay, even though I not got selected into it because I
Mhm.
don't much know about it,
No worries, no worries. Absolutely.
they are actually asking me only technical questions about your Linux, about your Kubernetes, about
Mhm.
your Docker knowledge. Okay,
Yeah.
such kind of stuff. Only one or two questions is about, okay, tell me what outage you experience into your organization, something like that. But I didn't see such type of questions yet. So so so
Hmm.
so I'm very much confused about this. Should I follow the theoretical position that you are telling about us, or maybe technical part as well?
See, the thing is, whatever the today's discussion we are having, it
Hmm.
is a kind of not day-to-day activities that we are performing. Now, let's say
Okay.
you configure any kind of alerts,
Hmm.
whatever the alert you configure for your payment tab, we are not every day, we are not going to review that.
Hmm.
Just thing is, the thing that we are going to work on day-to-day basis is, as you explained about, as you mentioned, the Linux part, the troubleshooting. How will you check this? How will you check that? Correct.
Hmm.
That is the
Yeah.
technical. That is again, it's quite important, and that's the key roles and responsibilities for the SRE. But when it comes to the alerting part,
Hmm.
we should be aware that whatever the service I'm configuring or whatever the visualizations I'm doing, that is configured in an end-to-end basis.
Okay. Okay. Got it.
So when we say full stack developer, so full stack developer doesn't need a knowledge on all the tech stack, but he
Hmm.
should be aware end-to-end process from front end till the back end. He should be at least aware how my request and APIs will call at the downstream, how I will get the details from the database, how that works. If I am aware of the flow, I should be able to at least tell in the interview or explain in the interview what should be the process over here. Our day-to-day activities is going to be remain like a tech heavy only. We will be mostly working on the queries that we the commands that we had yesterday, Linux
Mhm.
internals, right? It's going to be that only. It's not going to change it. Just the thing. Just consider this session as a process. So
Okay.
when you define a process, when as an SRE, like uh, it's not like when you will start debugging the Linux thing, unless and until you get an alert. Okay.
Hmm.
So when we get an alert, unless and until we have the visualizations and dashboard in place properly. So that's how we need to link all the other tech stack, the tech thing that we are discussing over here. So it's kind of SR is not like, see, when you say on which part particularly I should be focusing on. There is no particular thing that we deep dive into that part only, and other thing that I can ignore. They are interlinked. If you can see, as I said, you will see the Linux related, the CPU related issues only when you get an alert from the alert manager. So for that, you should be aware. I have to set up an alert into alert manager. Okay, for what service I need to set up an alert? For that, you need to have a visualization in place. For visualization, you should be aware of the Prometheus in place. Configure the Prometheus on your server. Again, you should be aware how to configure it, and again that comes to again back to the Linux basics.
Santosh, I also have one question
Hmm.
that is purely on the salary side. So
Hmm.
I'm already working as a cloud DevOps engineer,
Mhm.
and if I want to increase my CTC, okay,
Mhm.
so
Mhm.
should I remain in the DevOps space because I feel there is no on call? We just have to,
Yeah.
there is no criticality involved.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
Correct.
and being a family person, the priorities is, we should
Yeah.
log out by 9 p.m. maximum. There is
Correct.
no on call support also
Correct.
involved.
Correct.
But
Yeah.
talking about the CTC part, does it SRE is better than DevOps and cloud? What is your take on this?
It depends as per my experience and the interviews that I have conducted and structure that I have got. Definitely, it is more for SRE, and wherever we have seen that critical dependency on the application, the pay scale increases. Okay, so thing is for if you have a limited dependency on your application, and your application is not like that critical level that can be managed by anyone within your team, and that can be, day-to-day activities is not going to impact or not going to place that kind of the contribution to your overall project delivery, then it is going to be same. But when it comes to the roles and responsibility, SRE adds more value because you need to cover a lot of things apart from the DevOps. Let's say the CI/CD pipe, CI/CD, Kubernetes, Linux. We are considering all multiple things over here. That's why the SRE adds sometimes more more value. But again, it depends upon role and the organization that what exactly they are looking for. It changes actually. But whatever the salary structure I have seen so far, SRE was on the higher end basically. And that is why, as Anirudh, you mentioned, right? You asked about on which tech should I be more focused on the tech stack, or should I consider this part theoretical approach as well? So
Hmm.
these questions will come into picture when you are in the director level of interview or at the VP level, at the senior level of interview.
Okay.
Okay, so text definitely your technical interview is going to be your first round or 1 or 2 rounds of technical interviews. When it comes to the director or the senior level people who usually join the war rooms, who usually join this incident command PCC calls, they
Okay.
expect whoever from my team is I am hiring, you should have the experience from the incident management as well, because
Right. Right.
the directors and VPs or say senior manager, whoever is joining the call, as we have seen that, right? Whoever is joining the call, they are going to instruct the ops person. Can you check this one? Can you please check if how many requests are successful? So as someone mentioned, we are in the very tensed situation during that time, and if someone do not have the experience how to handle the tense situation or how to active or how to contribute during the war room situation, then definitely they are not going to consider. At
Mm-hmm.
least expect some kind of situation handling experience, pressure handling experience. You might have seen, right? Many of us have faced this kind of thing. Technically, they are very sound. They are really, if you ask them, normally they will explain it very nicely. But when it comes to the interview experience, suddenly everything goes blank, right? I mean, we are not
Mm-hmm.
all that we have learned, and I know this thing. And where when you are out of the interview, and you will remember, okay, I know this thing. How I missed this part. I should have answered this. You'll get to know later part. That is nothing but handling that situation. The similar situation usually we will get into when we are in the war room or we are in the critical issues or handling the severity related issues. So, and Niharika, to answer your question related to, the pay scale, definitely SRE has the higher, I mean, weightage over here, but that comes with an higher responsibility as well. At midnight, you will get a call. You need to log in. You need to understand immediately. You also don't know how long it is going to take your time to fix the issue. It could take 5 minutes. It could take 5 hours as well. So we must be ready to sacrifice that
Yeah,
on
yeah,
weekends
Santosh.
and all.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So guys, moving on to the incident part. As we have discussed mostly about how to handle the incident, how to define it, all these things we have discussed. Now we will just conclude this today's discussion with just few more slides, guys, just to have a proper from the interview point of view again. The postmortem thing, it is expected, and definitely some interviews questions will be asked if the organization is specifically looking for the incident management. Okay, so we have already discussed, if you remember, in a week 1 or 2 about the blameless postmortem, right? So the postmortem, the incident investigation has to be based on the system. It has to be like how we can improvise our system rather than pointing someone, correct? So how to it's a kind of responsibility of a complete team. It's not individual responsibility to act on the particular incident. Let's say if something goes wrong, something went wrong due to someone's mistake, it's actually team's responsibility uh, to how to handle such issues not to happen in future, rather than blaming that particular individual. How we can improvise our system stability. Okay, so that's why we need to bring the blameless culture. Okay, uh, the thing is, if you do not have the proper blameless culture in place, it's like what is going to happen in future, like if there is no proper process in place for the incident investigation. Thing is, let's say there is one severity 1 or severity 2 issue happened due to one change request. The developer has deployed it, and it broke, and eventually that change had to be reverted back. uh, okay, so now let's say that CR has multiple check-ins. The PRs were merged, and no one knows whose PR got impacted and whose change got impacted, and that was the issue. And what will happen whenever they start looking into the checking the issue, what went wrong with that CR? No one will come forward, because uh, if anyone will get to know, okay, their name will be like highlighted, or they will come that will be escalated to that certain level, that everyone will try to hide their whatever the changes they have. They will not uh, confirm that what mistake they have done, correct? And thing is, whoever has done it, they will try to hide, and the next time again the incident may occur, correct? And no one is going to take that responsibility, and that will keep on happening since you do not have the proper process in place. Now, when you have a proper blameless culture in place, what exactly it changes the overall process, right? Uh, so thing that will happen when once like you have proper incident management or postmortem in place, uh, people will say, let's say I someone has done some change, and he knows like even if I come forward, it is not going to impact my role, or it's not going to, I'm not losing my job. So people will voluntarily come forward. Okay, I think this is because my change, and I have done this, and looks like this is causing the issue. Please revert back. What happened? You got the issue within first 10 or 15 minutes within the when you deployed it, or let's say hardly 30 minutes of stay. Else, people will keep on investigating whose fault it is and what went wrong. So that ultimately saved your 20 minutes of your time. Correct? Uh, Again, with that, someone has came forward, and you know what's the issue is, and you know that what's the root cause. You can focus on fixing that issue. Uh, Never misses get reported, and the thing is, whoever is reporting the issue is not like they whatever the issues that they are reporting, is everything being captured properly and they are being fixed. Not a single issue get buried in the, that means not a single issue got escaped from your monitoring or from your blameless postmortem. All the issues that we have discussed is being captured properly. That improvises the systems rather than person being replaced. Now, let's say someone has deployed some changes from the pre-production environment as it is on the production. Let's say that has some configuration files from the pre-production. The same files were deployed as is on the production environment. Now, thing is, rather than blaming that person, how can we deploy these changes as it is on the production? Okay, so you have blamed that person, but later point of time, someone else will do the same mistake again. So what you can do, rather blaming someone, you can focus on improvising your system. Let you can have some system in place where that compares your pre-production configuration with your production configuration, and if it finds the mismatch, okay, there is a value of the memory configuration, and in pre-production it is less, on production it is high, and you are deploying this configuration file from the pre-production. So what you are doing, you are implementing some kind of guardrail for your production environment. Rather than blaming someone else, you are improvising your system stability, you're monitoring, and you are implementing some kind of guardrail. When you have this proper guardrail in place, anyone who try to roll out or do some kind of issues again, that will be flagged in pre-production itself. That will not be deployed in the production. You getting my point, guys? What I'm trying to say here. So how the blameless postmortem improvises your overall system stability.
Yes, yes.
All right. So the possible interview questions over here, like have you conducted uh, uh, any kind of blameless postmortem or RCA? Sometimes the organization they called it as a root cause analysis call as well. Okay, so that in sometimes they call this RCA, sometimes they call it as blameless postmortem. It depends. Okay, so what does the blameless postmortem actually means? That sometimes we do not get this kind of questions, but usually get a question like, have you ever done, or have you ever conducted any kind of RCA call by yourself for any kind of incident? So when there is a question for, have you ever worked on any kind of critical incident, the follow-up questions is going to be likely to have the RCA call as well. So what was your okay? So you conducted this, you took the part in the critical incident, and that issue was eventually resolved. Everything is fine now. What next? What was your conclusion in the RCA call? That's where actually we need to explain what exactly we have done as a part of SRE. From SRE point of view, what was our role and what did we make sure not to occur such issues in future. Okay, so when we can say we no need to explain it theoretically, like it's not a punishment, accountable, and all that thing. What you can explain that we mostly focus on mostly we focus on improvising our system rather than blaming someone. So whenever we had this kind of issue, like the pre-production values were deployed on the production, we worked on some automation part. We prepared some of the Python script. Now that script is comparing the configuration files on the change. Let's say there is a config file and it has some memory related configurations or disk related configurations, storage configurations. So usually that Python script is compare that with the pre-production and the production value. And if we find any kind of uh, difference between the two files, immediately we get a report. So that kind of system improvement we have done from the SRE. We have worked on that automation part rather than doing the manual effort, spending hours on checking the comparing the values. That is again a toil management. So we have worked on automating that particular script, and that script is now helping us to compare the values on the production. So that is again as a part of learning we have implemented from the RC analysis. So that is how you can explain during the interview, guys. So what was your learning from the RCA call? At least you should have one analysis from the incident that you have learned, and what is the takeaway or what is the thing you have implemented after that incident. Okay. Any
Yes, sir.
questions? Or see, I'm just explaining from the interview point of view, like what could be the possible interviews and what analysis or answers you should be ready with. So these are the expected questions you might get into the like you might get asked uh, in the interview. Okay, so it comes with a proper process, so that's why we have to be very sure about what we are answering.
Yes, Santosh. Yeah, pretty much clear.
And in the interview, okay, mostly what we cover in the root cause analysis call, you can simply remember these things. In the interview, so in the root cause analysis, we usually discuss about the summary, what went wrong, what was the issue, what was the impact, from what time to what exactly the timeline when the issue was there, and what was our findings, actions, root cause analysis, what went wrong, why this deployment broke, and what was the issue and why it reached to the production. As I discussed now, our we have to make our system or process in a such a way that we should be able to identify such kind of issues before reaching to the production. Okay, this is again a learning for SRE engineers. So we need to make sure this incident not to occur again. Okay, what went well? What went well is like if you're alerting and your system detection, the dashboard, observability, everything should reflect whenever there is a issue, and your dashboard should show the same. Your alerting mechanism should work up to the mark, whatever the configuration you have done. What went bad about the system? Not alert. See, let's say there are a number of use cases that we encounter in every incident. So sometimes there is a kind of new requirement or a new feature that you were not aware of, and the developer team has deployed it, and that got missed. So what went bad? Okay, so we missed one of the critical alert that could be added as a part of our system improvement. Rather than blaming Laun, and they say, okay, that was Priya supposed to add that alert, but she missed it. No, do not point on anyone. Rather than as an SRE, you take that responsibility for a team. We need to take this as a team's responsibility over here. Action item for the owner who, due to which like this issue means the responsible team. Here, let's say the payments issue and date. Again, if they have to any action items to be discussed, they can have the again the further RC calls, or it can be tracked as a part of problem tickets. Root cause analysis, it's kind of mostly taken care by the senior leadership only, or the incident commanders who usually try to dig into the issues, what went wrong, and they keep on asking why this happened and how this can be further analyzed or improvised. So these are the like part of like incident commanders role, right? Um, okay. Now, why postmortem? If we do not perform any kind of postmortem after the incidents, right? So what will happen? Right. So eventually, this kind of issues will occur again, since we do not have the proper RC call in place. So these issues may occur again, and yeah. So that's why most of the time, if the process is not proper, mostly it gets failed. All right, guys. Yeah, this can be ignored for now. You can go through it later, but it's kind of root cause analysis and all that usually we discuss. Okay, the quick thing. Have you guys ever read about MTTR in the job description? MTTR or MTTB.
Yeah, yeah,
Usually they ask in the
yeah.
interview as well. Again, see, so whatever the discussion that we had about the incident management, uh, typically for the technical, for the scenario based questions, they usually ask these questions like, have you ever worked on MTTR part? Okay, so MTTR, what is MTTR here? So if you see, like, sorry, yeah, where is it? Okay, so if you see this one, MTTR is nothing but at what time your system broke, at what time you had the issue, and till at what time the incident got resolved. So that is nothing but the mean time to resolve your incident. So this is the overall duration of your system, right? So broke means at what time, let's say it broke at 8 o'clock. Detected, that means let's say it detected at around 8:10. Okay, 8:10 it detected, and someone knows, like, and you have the alerting in place, and based on the SLO base, whatever the alerting we have configured, that got triggered. Okay, at what time that issue was, time to know meant at what time the issue got detected, or where exactly. Okay, it's issue with the database at the downstream level, so that issue got detected, time to know. Mitigate is nothing but the action that they are going to take. Now let's say if it's due to any change request, they are going to roll back that change. If it's related to any issue with the application, if they are observing some kind of slowness, they are going to increase the memory. So whatever the mitigation action is there, it's a kind of uh, TTM, okay, time to mitigate. And next is resolve. So that is complete process, like from incident point of view, that this time your system got broke, and in this time your system got resolved. So in this complete process, this is nothing but we call it as a MTTR, mean time to resolve the incident. From the interviewer point of view, you definitely going to get a question: have you ever worked on any kind of critical incident? Apart from that, have you ever tried to reduce the overall MTTR for your application? So definitely these kind of questions are you might get when they are specifically focus on system reliability. MTTR is one of the key factor in system reliability. So we have to prepare, we have to be ready with the answer if you have worked on any kind of like in such case use case where you have worked on reducing the MTTR. Okay, so why so how to answer this kind of questions, right? MTTR part, when it comes to the MTTR part, how can you answer this kind of questions in a better way, or you can handle these questions? So you can start with time to detect or time to know. So that if you can see 50 minutes of the time was spent in detecting and time to know the issue, correct? So this is nothing but our key area: observability, visualizations, and alerting part. correct? If we can improve this part, anyway, time to mitigate and resolution, whatever times are there, let's say for the mitigation, it took overall hours, 30 minutes were performed for this activity. But can we improvise this area? Like time to detect and time to know. Time to detect is nothing but our Prometheus matrix. Time to know is nothing but our log stash, Loki, and traces. Got my point, guys? So here, mostly when you get any kind of questions related to the MTTR, you should be focusing on our key area that we usually work. Time to detect and time to know. So you can say there was a alerting or the metrics that we have configured, which was missing when we understood like there is an issue, and which used to trigger after 15 minutes of time, and we improvised that part and we worked on that, creating the proper visualizations and proper alerting, so that actually reduced our overall MTTR time. So that is one of the scenarios that you can explain based on your environment or the project that you are working. But this could be like just to let you know what MTTR means. So hope you understood like what exactly MTTR and how it works. Fine, guys. If any doubts or any queries, let me know.
Yeah, good, Santosh. I think that's lots of reading part you have to go through.
Lots of reading part, yeah. It's lots of reading because like it's kind of a process part. Okay, that's why mostly uh, has to be in place for these all concepts like MTTR, incident metrics. You could find this in the same Google SRE book. So I have just took the reference from the Google SRE only, and yeah, based on that I have prepared. That's why there is a lot of process involved for SRE as well.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a kind of SREC. Why this plays a key role over here? Mostly what exactly we are looking for here. If you see, mostly we are dealing with the production environment and stability of the production environment. And for production environment, the process has to be in place. Correct. So while designing the SLO, we have seen right the error budget and burn rate. Everything has to be in numbers. You cannot have a rough number. Based on that you design a SLA. Correct. So that's why we have to be well aware of what the process for SRE and how to design them. So in the next week we will create some alerts and how to define them and how to group them. All these things we will discuss in the next week session. Apart from that, we will start working on the from the Kubernetes for SRE. So we'll check the probes, alerts, right? So whatever the things we have discussed for the Linux environment, similarly we will be checking the use cases for the Kubernetes. What are kind of typical pod related, deployment related issues to capture, right? Liveliness and readiness probes, and how the probes can be optimized, and how we can have the proper liveliness readiness probes configured for our environment clusters. Limits and OEM kill alerts, how we can detect that in a better way. So all these things we will discuss in next week's session, guys. Yeah, I know that there is a lot of theory involved in this, because mostly if we are sure about if we are done with this, and if your concepts are clear, then this is going to help us. I will show you that part as well for what we are going to cover. Okay, just give you the quick uh, mm, lab overview of the lab that we are going to implement. Okay, just a minute. Sorry. In the meantime, if you have any doubts or any queries, feel free to ask.
I think no doubts for now. We have to read
Yeah,
it for the week.
yes, yep. We have to read it, and okay. So thing is like say in the coming week, what we will be working on in the next week. So I will share this lab as well. So alerting like how we are going to prepare labs. Okay, so how are we? We are going to create one alert. Okay, for a demo alert that we are going to create. We are going to create a configure a routing mechanism as well. Okay, how to route the issues or matches and define the severity, and based on that, how can we create update the alert manager YAML file. This is going to be our second lab. Third lab is going to be the grouping mechanism, how to define the grouping and how that can be uh, uh, how that grouping works. Like if we have the similar kind of incident or a single issue, how we can group them, that we will discuss. Inhibition is nothing but like alert storm, right? So let's say the target is down, and due to which due to the cascading impact, we are expecting like 50 more alerts because the main issue or your main server itself is got cracked. So that is the nothing but inhibition, and how to work on that and how to implement the inhibition, that we will be discussing in the next session. Okay, how to silence, as someone mentioned, right? About Mukul, I think you bought that one. So about the silencing the alerts, right, during the maintenance window. So how we can do that during the patching or maintenance window, we will discuss that part as well. And yeah, I think most of the things, rest the interview questions remain same, but we will deep dive into it. Postmortem, we will conduct one incident scenario, okay, and if required, then only we will go through it. Else we can deep dive into the lab for the Kubernetes. Okay, so mostly lab 7, we are working on. We will work on the, mostly it is going to be kind of a kind of documentation part. Mostly we will not focus, will not spend much time on this one. Okay, so we have this 6 labs, the important lab that we need to cover. We will cover that in a minute. So far, so from the conceptual part, everything is clear, right? What I wanted to convey, and the thing that why we need the proper alerting, and why it is important one. Hope it is clear, guys, for everyone.
Yes, it is clear.
Yes.
But we will forgot if we didn't read it.
Yes, definitely. I will be sharing the PDF. And thing is, these kind of questions you may expect after the technical rounds. That's the sure shot. I can surely can tell you uh, when you have the VP or director level rounds of interview, they are not going to go, or they are not going to ask in the tech stack. How will you check the out of OEM killed, or how will you check the probe issue for a Prometheus server? No, they are going to ask because they are working on the real incident part for your application. The SRE engineers that they are hiring, they are the only SRE team. So usually they only conduct the severity 1, severity 2 level of, they only are part of the such kind of incident calls. So they make sure that whatever the candidate I'm hiring, he should be aware of, because on the weekend you are working, and if you are not aware of how to troubleshoot the issue, you are going to engage someone else, and unnecessary we are going to ruin someone's weekend. That's why they expect the candidate should be at least have the good experience to handle the pressure situation, to know how to check the log, how to at least give your observations during the critical incidents. At the end, SRE role is not only specific to our day-to-day roles and activities. We are not only defining the CI/CD pipeline. We are not only focusing on the daily routine work. It's kind of when the system is up, we are good with that. When your system is in the chaos mode, everything is breaking. That's where the true value for SRE is there. That's why there is a pay scale high more than the other roles. So that's why we have to focus on all the areas. We should be focusing on all the tech stack. I would say do not go 100% till the depth of application issues and all, but at least you should be aware of what to check and what could be the possible issue and what all commands that I need to check within a 15 minutes of window. Every 15 minutes, we will be asking what's the update, where are we able to find out whose issue is it, right? So that's why I'm saying like if you have the proper process in your mind, then you can have the proper alerting in place. You will have the alert, the proper teams to engage, and you know what to check and what not to check. Fine, guys. I hope though it was today's mostly session was related to mostly theoretical approach, but before implementing the all the rules and alerting part, we should be aware of what exactly we are building. I will be sharing the PDF shortly with our coordinator. I hope today's session was also a productive one. If you have any kind of feedback or anything that you would like to recommend, please let me know. I will. Okay, the one thing that we did not check, we did not see if our alert got this one.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah, synthetic monitoring.
Synthetic
Right?
we have configured. Is it running or not? Okay. Still did not run. No.
You need to refresh the page.
Let me check. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. You can see here, right? We are seeing the sessions are available now, right? And we could see the status of the run, the application, the synthetic run. Correct?
So Santosh, the synthetic run also it is into the Grafana?
Synthetic, I don't see. I could not find that in the Grafana. They see there are for I think for the licensed version of the Grafana they might be supporting it. I need to check that. But because I do not have we are using the open source directly, right? So they must be supporting that feature. That's why I had to check with this middleware. But most of the visualization,
I think ELK has, right?
ELK has a Datadog also has that one, and even this. Most of the organizations are supporting this. And as you can see here, it has run for every 5 minutes window. It is running in every 5 minutes window, and whatever the status you could see here, right? You can simply check it how it was. Now, if you see the system itself, clicked on the particular link and it opened it. It checked all the documentation part. Yeah, you can see here, right? So it is clicked on the main page. Now it is scrolling down. Foundation page, it has opened, correct? So that's how it is. Like let's say we have to check any kind of a page or any kind of URL working or not. So this is how we can configure the synthetic. And we have to be very sure about configuring this synthetic, because this synthetic run, every synthetic run is a cost the cost actually. It's for every what I believe every 100 synthetic run they cost a kind of $1 or so. So we have to be very sure about what all kind of synthetic we are configuring.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why once you are done with the testing, just make sure you are pausing the test. Otherwise, it will generate the bill. Okay. Hope we don't have any more doubts or queries before we wind up.
Yes, we can wind up.
Yeah. Thank you, team. See you in the next week. Thank you.
Thank you, Santosh.
Thank you for the
Thank you,
session.
Santosh.
Thank you. Bye.